Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. The crypto lockdown. Tinubu signs executive order on virtual assets. President Bola Tinubu has officially dropped a massive regulatory sledgehammer on the nation's digital currency space today, invoking Section 5 of the Constitution. The president has signed the Presidential Executive Order on Virtual Assets Coordination 2026, establishing a high-powered virtual asset council chaired by the central bank. The presidency has declared an absolute end to fragmented regulations, explicitly pointing out that fraudulent, unregistered shadow operators have preyed on unsuspecting citizens and used systemic gaps for illicit finance. While the Federal Revenue Service is rushing to roll out an aggressive new tax policy for the new virtual asset sector, the crypto community is completely on edge. Sharp Edge Nation, this is an incredible historic shift in how the state treats alternative finance. For years, Nigeria has been one of the biggest peer-to-peer crypto markets on earth, with millions of young people trading to survive inflation, while the administration frames this as a necessary shield against money laundering and cybersecurity threats. The streets are highly suspicious. Is this massive data harmonization a genuine attempt to protect citizens from fraud, or is the government building an economic fortress to control and tax the final financial escape route of the younger generation before the 2027 elections arrive? Ladies and gentlemen, that's the first story of the day. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. We'll be right back. Welcome back, sir. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. Good to be back. And you too. How are you yourself?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Yeah,
Blessed,
just
highly favored.
thanks.
Yeah.
Just that you should know that we are not being selfish here. So as to know how I'm doing, I think it is indeed right for me to know that you are doing great. Thanks so much for doing this with me every week. Yes,
Yes.
let's
So the crypto, what do you think? Because the crypto market, the cryptocurrency, bitcoins, and the likes of them, right? In the last several years, has been a big thing in Nigeria. As a matter of fact, Nigeria is probably on the top of the list of the countries that adopted the use of cryptocurrency for an array of many different reasons. So now the government is they're chiming into this right now. Is this a good thing, or what's your take on it?
well, it's a sign of the desperation uh, that uh, is being visibly demonstrated by the government of the day in Nigeria. Um, and then it's an attempt to make sure that they will call it some blockage to an hemorrhaging economic system. The way I choose to look at this is that they just want to rake in money from every available um, source, having really flaunt and flub every uh, reasonable attempt to convince Nigerian citizens that they are doing well uh, with the entire system. The fundamentals of the macroeconomy under the Tinubu administration does not really look good, especially when weighed vis-a-vis the well-being of the citizens of the country. So, what do they do in this case? They have to look at the available alternatives, particularly um, the virtual component of the system, which initially was nothing to them. But you look at it, no government, no responsible government anywhere in the world, whether they want to fake what they are doing or they are really about it, would allow for semblance of criminality to thrive and fester. For example, you talking of the excitement of the youthful population of Nigeria in availing themselves of all the goodies of cryptocurrency and the trading format to that. Of course, why it really had that kind of traction with the youthful population was because, and it's still because of the fact that all kinds of pranks, all kinds of things go on in that alternate economic space, particularly when people commit what actually should be the focus of cybercrime laws in Nigeria, instead of using that cybercrime to launch after free speech and kind of abridge the rights of people to freedom of expression. This aspect of internet fraud, financial fraud, I mean, such that you saw with people like Hush Puppy and or whatnot, should have been the focus of cyber crime laws. But they made it to go after people like Shewore for expressing their mind or cautioning the administration that would prematurely advertise the success of its fight against corruption, as a result of which Mr. Omoyele Shewore said some things that the system said he should not have said. But anywhere in the world, leaders are called all kinds of names. So the issue of Nigerian youths trying to funnel proceeds of economic crime committed through internet fraud, maybe by way of so-called contrived marriages on the internet, outright hacking of people's accounts and what have you. So in order for them not to be easily tracked in terms of money laundering, in terms of proceeds of that kind of evil economic activities, they would want to make sure that whatever they have benefited from, as proceeds of their escapades on the internet, is first converted to cryptocurrency and then or bitcoins, whatever they call it, and then that maybe, according to them, loses its it cannot easily be traced to them. But there's no perfect crime, like we have always said here. The digital footprint will be there. It could always be tracked to them, just that the system chose to ignore at the time. Now they are paying attention. And with a system that is always saying, oh, we have made this much in terms of foreign, what's it called? Forex or whatever the economy is able to make in terms of GDP and so savings by way of what the country expects to make every year, and the figure is not adding up. They probably would say, oh, they have $40 billion in offshore account savings, and people question them. Why is this not really translating to good living standard for your citizens? Because the thing does not add up, and then some remittance that ought to have been done by the country's oil cartel, NNPCL, that is not reflected in the books, that is not showing in their ledger, so many other things. And the loss of maybe 8.8 trillion naira that the World Bank flagged the other day, and then questionable deductions from state accounts every month, even local governments not really having their own allocations as at when they should. All these things adding up, and now there must be a semblance of some form of activity that says we must follow the money, whatever money, whether this gives succor to the youth or not. It's not going to be enough. Let everything be properly channeled and be regulated. To that extent, it is the duty of the government. But at the end of the day, all things considered, would this really be impacting the lives of Nigerians, the lives of Nigerian youth, the lives of Nigerian citizens at large in any fundamental way? I want to believe that the government, if it's sincere in that agenda, in that desire, that this is not about playing politics or doing nothing, but want to create the impression that they are doing something. If this is not that, if this is not some trickish agenda, at the end of the day, if they get all the money, if it's part of their low-hanging fruit, instead of driving a more fundamental and radical agenda of industrialization and production-driven economy, if this is not another distraction, it will be okay. But like every Nigerian, at the end of the day, there is always something opaque about it. So, yes, they can look for all the money, drag in all the revenue, funnel it properly to where it should go. Nigerian citizens will still want to know, home and abroad, that there is an element of sincerity in whatever the government is driving at. That is my initial observation about going after cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, and what have you. So that if they are saying they don't want any leakage of revenue, fine. But would this serve the purpose of the people? And then at the end of the day, would it not look like the government is giving, would it not look like government is incentivizing incidents of digital fraud, since majority of the money being realized by the youthful population that has been targeted in this is really coming from cyber financial crime? Would there not be a situation in which the government is openly endorsing that? And from what we know, the trend in the entire world now, it's not as if this Bitcoin or cryptocurrency of a thing is yet stable like that. It is largely speculative, and anything speculative is nothing other than its true name: gambling. So are we saying it is cool now to run a kalu economy? Is it, cool to say that casino mentality is what Nigerians really deserve at this moment? Instead of securing the entire space, making sure that people can go to their farms, making sure that real capacity is developed such that people can really go to banks, get loans at rock bottom rates, and then be able to drive the economic and productive capabilities of the system. This is what I think we should drive at, instead of just saying, oh, it is cool to run Kalo economy. Thank you very much.
I hear you. So some of the most popular tweets, so I can go into the next story real quick. Somebody said this is politics, and they can't fool us with that.
I agree.
Somebody said that man has evil agenda.
I
Very
agree
soon
again.
we're not going to have access in crypto because of tax. Somebody said his purpose is tax and extraction. He doesn't even know what Bitcoin means. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. Join the conversation in the comment section. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. We're moving on to some other trendy stories around the world. We'll be right back. All right, the Freetown Showdown. Nigeria demands coordinated strike on xenophobia. The diplomatic corridors of West Africa are vibrating with heavy rhetoric today, representing President Tinubu at the 69th Ordinary Session of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State in Freetown, Sierra Leone. Vice President Kashim Shettima delivered a blistering unedited ultimatum to the international community. The Nigeria government officially condemned ongoing violent Afrophobic and xenophobic attacks against its citizens in South Africa, revealing that Aso Rock has already executed a rapid evacuation of over 1,490 Nigerians in 7 separate batches. Shettima explicitly reminded the sub-region that the freedom South Africa enjoys today was bought by the massive sacrifices and liberation efforts of nations like Nigeria, demanding a completely unified ECOWAS from front to table the crisis at the African Union. So they're saying this is what they're saying. Okay, they're saying this is a massive display of foreign policy muscle from an administration under continuous local pressure. This is they talk about Nigeria now, and by using the ECOWAS pulpit, they aggressively slam Pretoria. Aso Rock is sending a clear message that it will no longer tolerate the mistreating of its diaspora. But back home, the streets are talking. Critics are asking if the administration is using regional diplomacy to distract from the heavy local challenges at the border corridors. Now, here's a question. Is this fierce defense of Nigerians abroad a masterclass in regional leadership, or is it a calculated distraction from the domestic trenches? The sharp edge is yours, sir.
Well, whoever is describing this as a distraction from the domestic issues of the day will really be missing the whole point. Honestly, if you monitor the events on the sidelines of the ECOWAS summit going on in Sierra Leone, I believe, you would understand that indeed Ghana actually opened that firework. I mean, those fireworks against South Africa Afrophobia, and that is proper the proper tag, the proper characterization of whatever they call xenophobia in South Africa. It is worse than xenophobia. This is black on black hatred, Afrophobia stuff, and wherever they got that agenda from, whatever they got that kind of mindset from, should really be described as something that is coming from the pit of hell itself. So, for anybody to think that, Vice President Shettima, who stood in for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu at the ECOWAS forum, was trying to take the shine away from the issues inside Nigeria. Really misses the point. But I want to really consider without conceding that also it could be a mix of the two. But let us first separate chaff from wheat. Let us look at the substance vis-a-vis the shadows of whatever this is about. Is it not true that Nigeria spent over $60 billion in support of the efforts at destroying totally apartheid in South Africa? And then is it not true that several Nigerian statesmen like Obasanjo, Emeka Anyaoku, etc., worked hand in hand with other notable figures around the world to make sure that Nelson Mandela was set free, and ultimately that South Africa became a multiracial democracy? These things are really worthy of our consideration. And while you and I are still here on planet Earth, let us also remind whoever wants to really be in denial as to the influence that Nigeria wielded, the influence that Nigeria was able to pull across the globe. Whoever is going to deny that, some of us are still around here to point it out that even some of us, while we were primary school pupils, were able to contribute to funds, relief funds on freedom ride for South Africans. We know that Nigerian civil servants allowed for checkoff of some part of their salaries to support the whole thing. And if you go through Nelson Mandela's book, Long Walk to Freedom, I believe, African Writer Series, you would read how he embarked on shuttle diplomacy in the early 60s, coming to Nigeria, going to places like Ethiopia. Hosted by people like Seda Senghor of then Senegal, and Traore in Guinea, late Kwame Nkrumah in Ghana, several other places, such that Nigeria was listed alongside other front. Nigeria is not part of South Africa by geography, but because of the involvement and the active participation and funding of the freedom fight there, Nigeria was listed along a frontline state. And this was not an isolated situation. In several places where Africans were in bondage, were in shackles all over the continent because of colonialism, neocolonialism, and then the evil apartheid system, setting people apart because of racial differences. Nigeria played its part as a big brother. So the South Africans that are so myopic in their thinking and sense of appreciation, not able to understand that Nigeria and other African brother and sister states were there for them during their darkest moments, not realizing all that and having to be used by all kinds of forces, all kinds of people with sinister and dark mind. Would stage protests around town, giving people quit notices, and one a foul-mouthed minister in the South African presidency blackmailing Nigerians, and in an extremely uncouth and irresponsible manner, came out to say that Nigerians should begin to let them know wherever, the route. I don't want to, I'm trying to paraphrase that. the route through which they deal in drugs. But drug use, drug peddling, bootlegging of drugs, that is hard drug, the ones that destroy people, destroy people's minds, has always been part of South Africans' lifestyle. Nigerians did not bring drugs to them. They should go and study patterns. They should go, South Africans should study patterns. They should look at the big drug interests, the barons all over the world, international cartel dealing in all these things. How they bring them to black population and even white population, the disadvantaged white population in South Africa, instead of blaming it on Nigerians. Nigerians want to work. Nigerians, wherever they go, they are goal-driven. They are motivated. You and I are by, what's it called? By ancestry. People of Nigerian descent. We don't do stuff like that. And for anybody to want to make it look like, oh, it's the Nigerian thing, that in itself is demonic and condemnable, extremely objectionable. And I think it is not too late for Vice President Shetima, on behalf of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to speak up. And for anybody to mix that with an attempt to distract from the many or the myriads of issues or troubles in Nigeria. Whoever is causing distraction to the issues, the domestic issues in Nigeria, will be the South Africans that just brought this up from nowhere. They are the ones causing distraction against their own, number one, inability to really handle the challenges of nation building that was given to them virtually on a platter. After so much bloodshed, after so much township unrest, after so much violence attending apartheid regime in their country. It's an attempt by them to hide whatever has been the shenanigans of politicians and their cronies within their system, such that ANC continues to lose its majority with with time. And then whoever is distracting from domestic issue in this will be the South Africans who do not know how to take care of their women, and they blame Nigerians for for their choice of who they fall in love with or who fall in love with them, which in itself is ludicrous and absurd. You know, you don't want to legislate it. If you're a lazy man and you think you're going to find a woman that will be slaving it out with you, or whatever the choice you are making as to who is your partner in love, that's your choice. So are Nigerians the ones that are raping people across ages divide and sexual divide in South Africa, like every second? Are Nigerians responsible for that? So this pushback is right. Just that Nigeria was sleeping on the wash, and everybody could trash and do all kinds of things to Nigerians in the diaspora. Thank God for the fact that we can wake up to the responsibility of pursuing citizen diplomacy and understand that, yes, Nigeria would always be accused, and the leadership in Nigeria will be blamed of causing distraction from domestic issues. So long they do not respect even the letters and the paper that really host whatever we say we have, whether by pretense or in reality, as human rights. If we are treating our citizens right, if people don't read through our system, particularly that time South Africa led the challenge against the execution of Ken Saro-Wiwa under Sonny Abacha way back, I think 96 or thereabout. South Africa led that blistering condemnation of Nigeria for executing Ken Saro-Wiwa and the Ogoni Nine, you know, through Commonwealth Forum. If that had not happened, if we do not disrespect our citizens within Nigeria, if people like Omoyele Sowore are not handed and hunted in Nigeria today, just because there is zero tolerance for dissenting views in the system, it will be so hard for a struggling country like South Africa, forgetting that this black population that hates fellow black Africans out there did not really put in much in terms of building or developing that economy. Nigerians bring hard-earned money, convert it to international currency to invest in South Africa, yet South Africans are not grateful, especially the ones whose head, would have to be examined, would have to be taken to the psychiatric ward. This is it. South Africans need fellow Africans. And I know if Nigeria is able to tackle its problem of leadership, South Africa would not even be able to want to see Nigeria as a country that it would want to compete with, talk less of trying to mess with the Nigerian citizens. That's my view about what is going on there. Kudos to West African leaders for standing up to the monstrous evil of Afrophobia that has reared its ugly head in South Africa.
That's good analysis, sir. I'm looking at some comments here. Somebody say, why can't our country provide the same opportunities that make Nigerians migrate to South Africa? How many South Africans are in Nigeria? A lot of Nigerians in Gulf countries suffering. What do you have to say about that, sir?
I agree perfectly with that view. And that is why I said that respect would have to transcend politics, would also have to touch on economy, and then sincerity of purpose on how we treat each other as Nigerians within Nigeria. So if that is done, the issue of economic justice is what the people are talking about, and even political justice, social justice. All those things would have to be addressed by Nigeria itself. And this exodus, what is called Japa syndrome, would have been would have been addressed, and there will be respect for Nigerians wherever they go, all over the world. It's just that will to make it happen, and it is something that can be done within a reasonable time frame. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Join the conversation in the comment section. We have some other trendy stories around the world. We'll be right back. So, the 2027 deadline scramble. INEC portals overwhelm opposition factions. The administrative machinery of the 2027 general election has officially entered a chaotic choke point today, as the formal timeline for political parties to submit their initial governorship and legislative candidates to the INEC portal reaches its peak. Internal civil wars have erupted inside the main opposition offices, following the recent registration realignments that birthed the new Nigeria Democratic Congress (NDC). Multiple parallel factions within the legacy PDP and smaller coalitions are reportedly struggling to gain access codes to upload conflicting lists of candidates. Observers are already warning that the structural chaos could lead to a massive wave of pre-election court disqualifications before the ballot paper is even printed. The grand game of political musical chairs is getting incredibly messy. While the ruling APC is moving smoothly using its massive supermajority structure to lock in its tickets, the opposition is essentially running around the INEC offices screaming that they are being technically locked out. With candidate portals closing rapidly, are we watching a genuine regulatory process exposing the absolute lack of discipline within the opposition camps? Or are we witnessing the early systemic engineering of a ballot where the main alternative options are strangled in court before next year? Let's have your analysis on this one, sir.
Yes, thank you very much. It's almost a case of being undone. And everybody continues to blame whoever is the victim or the one that has been victimized. Don't lose sight of the fact that even as we speak now, it's a struggle for the government of the day in Nigeria to really tolerate the existence of credible opposition. Wherever the opposition camps, the different opposition parties, wherever they go, because it's so difficult for them to mash up and maintain a front. It's so difficult. And really, when Nigeria decides to embrace multi-party democracy, no one expects anything less. Personally, because of the experience that we have lived as Nigerians, I would prefer a two-party system, because that is what really worked for the political evolution that we witnessed in 1993, the June 12 political phenomenon. And I would have loved to see a two-party arrangement, just like we have in America, and like Democrats, Republicans, and that was the pattern that evolved, or that was engineered by through military arrangements during the Babangida years. But something about the kind of head that Babangida carries on his neck, everything was going well for him, and then that inner thing popped up. Now I'm talking with the consciousness of a Nigerian. You know what it means that the inner head would mess the one outside up. Orinu So if otherwise, this thing that we're seeing, multiple opposition parties would have easily been tackled, and the jostling and the juggling on the part of notable political gladiators in Nigeria would have been better streamlined. There would have been a better way of managing the conflicting ambition of the super rich and super ambitious individuals in Nigeria. Be that as it may, I think that the malfeasance of poor internal democracy within, whether the super ruling party in Nigeria, APC, or opposition parties such like ADC, that is African Democratic Congress, or Nigerian Democratic Congress, or all the other minor political parties there. That is what you are seeing, which is why people would have to, in fact, it's a miracle that they haven't crashed the INEC portal where they upload all these things yet. It's a miracle. I don't know what INEC is doing to be able to hold that, to be able to hold that portal steady, to survive any, because I know Nigerians, whatever this government is doing, to think that, some people will just be given passcodes to enable them access to the portal to upload their candidates and what have you. It's just because Nigerians are not yet ready for them. And I can tell you that I know attempts will be made to hack that portal if it's not going to accommodate every shade of opinion and personalities there. Nigerians will rather crash it and bring it down. But God forbid that anybody will be nursing that kind of plan at this stage. So the space should be opened up. All this attempt at using the judiciary to muzzle rising opposition will be, should be discarded. I think for the integrity and credibility of the process itself, whatever is being done by way of restriction or by way of restricting genuine contestation should be discarded, because really the beauty of democracy is in the fact that ideas can be contested, people can argue things with themselves, between themselves, against themselves, in the interest of the common good of the country and its peoples. So whatever is so scary about this can be humanized, it can be humorized, it can be liberalized, such that people will know that democracy is not an abstract idea. Yes, it is an idea, but it is not abstract. It is something that each and every one of us can relate with, So whether we want to appropriate that system, that idea of democracy, like John Locke would want us to embrace it by way of political philosophy, or the way somebody like Thomas Hobbes, through social contract, will want us to also own it, or we also want to see it as we the people. This is for us, as crafted by thinkers and drafters of Constitution in America, particularly Thomas Jefferson. And the way the father of American Constitution, James Madison, the way he pushed that agenda as the number 4 president of America and the last of the prominent founding fathers, the Constitution drafters in America. I think when we look at what was driving all this, you would find a pattern. Influence of good religious thinkers. People would say, "Oh, how can you refer to Jesus Christ as a religious thinker?" Yes, he was a religious thinker, big, and others like Confucius in China. The aggregate of all this went into what people used, what people refer to evolve workable democracy for contemporary times. And Nigeria cannot be an exception. So instead of being, of nothing fear, of being afraid of contestations of ideas and individuals and profiles and what have you, Nigeria should confront that, embrace it, and make sure that it works for everybody. So the point I'm making in a nutshell, Ola, is that project, whether it is deliberate on the part of INEC, working as proxy for the government of the day in Nigeria, or the judiciary in that system, working in kowtow with the ruling administration, all of them should relax. They should relax. Make this an appealing process for everybody. Yeah. And then everybody would be able to say, oh, we have a country, we have a democracy that works for it, and then we have our hands to the till. The country is going to be greater to have appeal. And then banana republics like South Africa will not even look down on Nigerians wherever they see them. And no other people will be able. It's because there is no credibility to leadership recruitment processes, the way they are produced in Nigeria. That is why they also look at them, everyday Nigerian, as if we do not matter. Yet we matter. And this democracy is about all of us. home and abroad. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications, join the conversation in the comment section, and let's talk about some other trendy stuff around the world. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. So look at the chessboard today, right? So in Abuja, the president is signing an executive order to tax and monitor digital crypto wallets because he wants financial security. In Freetown, the vice president is pounding his fist on the table, demanding that South Africa respect the Nigerian passport. But iShow Speed is making fun of Nigerian passport at the World Cup yesterday, I heard, the finals. But anyway, right outside the INEC portal gates, our opposition politicians are sweating under their caps because they can't even get the internet data or password to upload their 2027 candidates. So, as a veteran journalist that you are, you're speaking with some very intelligent audience here. You know, the government is busy mastering the technology of intentional diplomacy. The thing is that, anyway, pardon my manners, ladies and gentlemen, we move into this most important segment. We've had the hard news. All right, so now let's get a sharper edge on the conversation. Joining us for our dialogue is the man himself, our publisher, editor-in-chief, and High Chief Oladimeji Abitogun. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you. Always good to be back with you, and thank you for making sure that we do this on weekly basis. And for our audience, this is your weekly tonic, and you know, we appreciate every your engagement with us. All the efforts you put into this, allowing us into your devices, the privacy of your homes, and you know, we want to see your comment, and we really want you to be part of what we do, because this is a community and you have a voice with us. Thank you so much.
All right. So now I want to play two videos for you. There are two particularly trending videos.
Please, before you go into that, let me, by way of observation, what do people in New Jersey think of the deluge of humanity descending on that? 80,000 people thereabouts standing in the stadium there for the World Cup yesterday, and more than between 1.5 billion to 1.8 billion watching all over the world. What do you think about that first? And if I was somebody that is into speculative stuff like gambling, I would have made some money, because I like the idea of Spain beating a prominent face like Argentina in World Cup. And I mean, I was telling people I prefer Spain to win, and I would have won some money. But you know, it's not my thing. But I like the fact
it's
that
not my
Spain
thing
won.
too, but I did pay attention to the game. I didn't know there were people lining outside in Jersey. I didn't pay attention to that. But Argentina was quite aggressive and unruly from what I saw with the game.
They have always done that. The last time I remember when they played Nigeria in the World Cup encounter, I remember the late Diego Maradona trying to move from the realm of being a player to almost becoming the referee in the game. Yes, it was almost like, oh, who are these Africans?
They actually started. There was actually a fight after they scored one on them. There was actually a fight that they had to separate one of the Argentina players from the Spain player. But anyway,
they still need some taming, and that's what they got yesterday. Kudos to.
I think they got a few yellow cards, red cards, but I paid a little bit of attention to it because it's the finals. But I'm not really a soccer person too, you know. Now, shout out to Ego Ventures 4552 says, "Hi, my chief Odokwetu."
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You are appreciated.
All right, great. So now I want to play this video for you. There's two stories, right? There's the story with David Umahi. I don't know if you saw the David Umahi, a young lady passed away in his country home
Mm-hmm,
compound. Right.
It's one day, one trouble for David now. You know, how does somebody begin to take care of the issues of David Umahi?
Yeah,
From the, I mean,
no, before your commentary, sir, let me play this video for you, and then we'll take it from there. Yeah. All right. Let's see.
I am Tonko Habila Wisdom, the father of late Mary Habila. Just as my barrister have just said, I don't have much to talk in this case. All that I want is the death of my daughter. We don't keep death of a little child up to so long, just like this. So that is why I'm here to say it once again and for all. I need the corpse of my daughter to take her for burial. That is what I'm standing on. I don't want the autopsy. That's why I'm demanding the corpse of my daughter to go and bury her now.
So, but how was your relationship with your daughter before she died?
We were having a very cordial relationship, both in her working place, in my home, and everywhere. The position of the family in this matter is, I've just said, we are of the truth. We need the corpse of this daughter. We don't want that autopsy that we are talking about. I am not suspecting anybody because that can occur. Even as we are standing here, one can fall here now and die. So we are not suspecting anybody. It has happened. It has happened. Thank you.
All right, so there's that one. I'll come back to that one, sir. But let me play this other one so we don't waste too much time, so you can talk about it. This one is about Kwankwa. So he literally just concluded this interview within the last hour or so. So he's talking about Peter Obi and their agreement together. Listening with Sheon Okin Baloye on Channels TV.
He says, "I'm going to do only 4 years." That is sacrosanct, isn't it?
Oh yes, I personally believe him, and I don't think, based on what I now know about him, will renege. I don't think he will change his mind when the time comes. And we are all gentlemen, even though we have accepted to put it even on paper.
You've signed it on the dotted line?
Yes, oh yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
As a party or between you and Mr. Peter Obi?
Both. We have done one for the party, and we have done another one between the two of us.
What was the agreement?
All right, so I don't know if you need to complete that, but my question, I have two questions for you, sir. You know, the first question is around the David Umahi and the late Abila young lady who passed away in his compound. There are speculations, Sarah reporters carry the news, there's suspicions. There are even allegations that he rushed out of his compound out right after that event happened. But anyway, somehow there's also speculations that family is being pressured to not want autopsy, even though David Umahi is publicly asking for autopsy. In a developed society, right? Once somebody passes away like that, somebody loses their life, it's not really up to you to decide if they should investigate it or not. There are standards in the society. They need to investigate. They need accountability, essentially, for this type of events. The same thing will be true for the second leg of the question, sir. The same thing will be true in a nation where a competent politician or leader is running for office, right? Why do they feel this need to manipulate with this one term? Why can't they just deliver starting now today with holding themselves accountable? What is all this about? So if you can kind of that's what I'm picking up between these two stories.
The second question is about Kwakwanso and
and Peter Obi. They seem to be pushing this.
About David Umahi. Now
Yes.
Okay, because of time.
Yes.
This is it. Let me say that the conduct and attitude of David Umahi over the death of that young lady has been most irresponsible and very, very non-statesman-like. Not the way a statesman should behave. Like you said, when the British were running Nigeria as a colonial enclave, was that the standard? I mean, with which, wouldn't that be a place for the coroner inquest?
Yeah.
And then it is not even, you see, this Baba, sorry about, I do not know if actually is the biological father of the deceased, but his conduct so far does not convince me that he is the biological father.
Wow.
Tell me, whatever the circumstance, any speculation, and I do not like to disrespect the dead, but this lady must be given her due honors. Something happened. David Umahi is the one that has been running the show, almost dictating to the police whether what the police should be coordinating, should be doing, is what David Umahi is doing. Honestly, all the time, let me tell you one brief insight, because I don't want to really speculate around it, but I think David Umahi is in deep trouble if he does not know what this means. Whether he's able to manipulate the system like he did with the settling of that lady that alleged initially that because of sex overtures, that she would not cave into. The minister owed her so much money, which he did not want to pay because he was resisting his advances by way of harassment and molestation and what have you. Now, the point for David Umahi is this. They spend all the time criticizing Obasanjo that left the governing space several years back. But I remember just controversy about the circumstance of the death of the Wigways, young couple, the Christmas morning of year 2000. Minister Dapo Sarumi was eased out of that government by President Olusegun Obasanjo. Olusegun Obasanjo, they paint as a monster and all that. You know, he had zero tolerance for that kind of scandal. I don't know why Tinubu is still keeping David Umahi. He keeps so much dead weights around him. People like Wike, people who have been causing him so much embarrassment. So what the police should have been addressing, what the police should have been, already there is obstruction of justice about this. That is a major crime in itself. And they say Nigeria is a modern state. Honestly, you tell me a state that carries on the way David Umahi has been running the scandal concerning the unfortunate death of this lady, I will tell you that Nigeria is not really showing up when it comes to that ambition of being described as a great nation. Who is David Umahi other than just being a minister? Look at the way he's been ringing everything. Not just the father of this lady. It's not only the father that is now saying there is no need for autopsy. We don't want this. We don't want that. And they were pleading some nonsense about tradition and culture. Tradition, culture, my foot. When a life of a Nigerian citizen is involved. So they also got the friend of that lady whom, you know, that friend disappeared for a while. The next minute she surfaced with affidavit as well. And this man too got, and when you compare between the affidavit from the so-called friend and the affidavit from this father, it was almost like reproducing a template, almost word for word. Who is running the show? Who is the puppeteer? Who is pulling the strings about all this? So let's say little about this, because we want to see the end of it. But I think Umahi has a case to answer. He has a case to answer. He got, nobody was even going to know about this. Nobody was, but trying to slander Sahara reporters, because Sahara reporters has become their nemesis in Nigeria. You know, yes, it has become their nemesis. And several online media organizations, by the way, when they do so-called State House Correspondents dinner these days, they don't call any online media. Would that happen in America? In America here, as little as they say SharpEdgeNewsTV.com is, whenever IMF, World Bank meetings hold, if we seek accreditation, we are allowed in. We are given our respect. United Nations everywhere. Only in Nigeria would they say, and that is a country that is struggling to make sure that they take people off the unemployment market. You treat a critical aspect of your system with condescension. So long about that. Now about Kwakwanso and Peter Obi.
And their little agreement.
Yes. It's between the two of them. And honestly, when politicians drag agreement with you, you also need to know how faithful they are with their schedule about daytime and nighttime. Because when the politician tells you that, they greet you good morning, go and check your timepiece and know if you are not in the dead of the night. Honestly, a good politician.
Are you still there, sir? Uh-oh. Are you there? Ladies and gentlemen, it looks like I'm the only one that's less live, and we're just going to go ahead and round up. Do us a favor. Please hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified whenever we go live. Hopefully you've been enlightened, educated today. We will continue the show next week. Take care. God bless.